And our top focus this hour, developments that are taking place in the United States. Well, Hollywood is now reacting to the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel's talk show. Jon Stewart has returned to The Daily Show early with a satirical take on what television might look like under President Trump's media control. The set turned gold and Stewart played a host too, afraid to speak freely. The segment was sharp, cynical and deliberately less funny than usual, making a point about censorship and double standards. Let's in fact listen in to The Daily Show.
This swirling around, are the naysayers and the critics right? Is Donald Trump stifling free speech?
Of course not, John. Americans are free to express any opinion we want. To suggest otherwise is laughable. Ha, ha, ha. We are a nation of diverse perspectives, and we are not afraid to be different.
Ronnie, what's up with your tie? You're gonna get us in trouble.
No, look, this is the only red tie I have. Okay, it's fine.
That's not red. It's pink.
It's not pink. It's at least salmon. All right. That's a shade of red.
It's not red enough. It's got to be mugger red.
Calm down. God, is this your first dictator? Listen.
Meanwhile, Democrats in Congress are pushing back. They announced a bill to strengthen free speech protections, accusing the Trump administration of intimidating political critics. Joining us at this point in time is Professor Madhav Nalapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, joining us from New Delhi, India. So thank you so much for your time on NewsX World. And I'd like to understand from you what Donald Trump has done, putting an indefinite ban on the Jimmy Kimmel show. Do you believe there is merit to his argument or his decision, or is he merely attempting to intimidate and silence other talk show hosts and celebrities, or anyone, in fact, who has an opinion that opposes the view of the Trump administration?
Look, a talk show, essentially a humor show. And frankly, it lampoons a lot of politicians, whether Democrats or Republicans or unaffiliated. The talk shows lampoon them, and that is quite routine. So very frankly, lampooning anybody is fair game in a talk show. And if you try and ban it, well, the problem is that, matters are getting quite violent in the United States. The murder of Charlie Kirk was very unfortunate, and as was the attempted murder of Donald Trump when he was a candidate. Unfortunately, the culture of guns is very widespread in the United States, and now what's happening is arguments are being settled by the bullet, not by discussion. That's a very unwelcome development. But I'd like to say that banning a show, threatening to take an entire channel off the air is completely unacceptable. It is complete censorship, and I don't believe it is acceptable in any democratic country. This is becoming more and more as though that the model that's being followed is that of the People's Republic of China, where obviously any kind of show publicly aired, whether talk show, humor show, whatever, there are very clear limits to that. And the head of state and the head of government are immune from any mention or criticism. Mention only if there's a complimentary mention. Look, I don't think that's a very good thing for the United States. I don't think it's enforceable in the United States. And I certainly don't believe that the Supreme Court, which swears by the US Constitution, a majority of judges, all the judges swear by the US Constitution. And I don't believe the Supreme Court is going to say that this kind of a block or this kind of a threat of taking a channel off the air is permissible under the US law or indeed the US Constitution. So in my personal view, I think President Trump has gone too far. Lampoon, then lampoon back. Your supporters can lampoon back. But the point is that you can't block a lampoon because we do that, it gets a new life all its own. And frankly, people like us who have never, witnessed a Kimmel show for years, we have suddenly, been witnessing this particular show for which he was removed off the air. So it has a negative purpose in the sense that it basically makes the show go viral on social media. And how do you check social media? I mean, you can't do that. Otherwise, tomorrow you'll start asking for curbs on that. The reality is a slippery slope. It's an unenforceable slope. And the only way is argument by argument. You fight argument by another argument. You fight a lampoon by lampooning in a different way. That's the only way to do it, not by using the law to block or by using executive power to block to threaten to block an entire channel. And so far Disney is concerned, frankly, it is a lot of people are very angry at Disney. And I think they're going to remember this in future. And the reality is also in the US Congress. I mean, if congressmen, the majority support this kind of thing, then I think they're making themselves vulnerable to the voter anger. Because the voter would like to see the cut and thrust of debate, or whatever it is. Only a fringe of voters is intolerant to that kind of cut and thrust. And the fringe cannot get any politician elected. The fringe, is the fringe. That's it, period. So I personally believe it's a mistake on the part of President Trump, and I think he needs to backtrack on that. I think he made that statement about Air Force One. I think he needs to backtrack on that at the earliest for his own good.
Right, absolutely. I request you to stay on with us. So we, in fact, have some more news coming our way. Well, supporters of the Jimmy Kimmel show have gathered outside Disney Studios in Burbank and El Capitan, protesting ABC's decision to suspend his late-night show. Fans of Jimmy Kimmel have criticized the decision and demanded his return. Listen in to what some of the protesters have to say.
He's one of the last true faces of TV, if you ask me, because, who knows how long those shows will continue, especially after this. So to remove him with the snap of the finger illustrates the degrees that this administration is willing to go to silence the opposition.
Trump has been threatening Kimmel for years. He pressured to get Colbert off the air. He said Kimmel was next, so it's not a surprise, but it is like a gut punch. It is a...
The Writers Guild is determined. We stand in solidarity with not only our fellow writers, but with everybody. We make our living with our words, right? We know the value of words, and this is a chilling effect. The First Amendment says that you can speak up and speak out against the United States government, and that's what's most important. That was the First Amendment that they did. It is our sacred amendment.
I don't think he said anything that was inappropriate. He stated the facts, and he has been stating the facts for quite a long time, and he's being censured for nothing more than speaking out.
And that's not the country that, my parents came here for. My parents immigrated from Nigeria. I was born and raised in this country. I love America, and one of the reasons I love it is because you can say and express anything you want, and to see such innocuous comments get so penalized this way is just really hard.
All right, we leave it there and